Hello. Waiting. Hello, guys. I'm calling Annick right now. Welcome to our talk about modeling and money. This one will be quick. It'll just be 30 minutes, so she'll be joining us soon. I hope it's not my signal, the problem. Just any charger from it. Okay, perfect. Hey, Annick, I'm calling you. Let's see. Perfect. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Excellent. Super.
Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you doing?
Super happy to see you. I'm doing excellent. Looking forward
Yeah,
to talking to you here today.
happy to see you too. It was great talking to you over the phone. And I'm so excited for Athena.
Yes, as are we. We're excited to have you. I mean, it seems natural to me that an entrepreneurial woman like you and a financial platform like us get together and talk about money. And actually, the topic today will be also modeling and money, because modeling is one of those industries where there is no fixed income, there is no guarantee, there is a lot of uncertainty, and that's when financial planning is extremely important.
Correct, that's true.
So I'm going to give a little introduction to you here because you are a model, and while people come in, you are a model, but you also studied accounting. Is that correct?
Correct. I studied accounting, yeah, and I've graduated. I have a bachelor in business administration.
I love that. So many of my friends have that duality of being an entrepreneur, being a business major, and also a model. And I think that gives way to success in finance too, because you already had that background. Now, tell me a little bit about your 20s and your early working experience, because you didn't start working as a model, right?
No, I didn't start working as a model. So what happened in my 20s was that I was in school. I didn't have my bachelor in business administration yet, and then I had a quack with my dad, and he just stopped paying for my school fees, and then I had to look for a job. So he just told me to go and find a way to pay for my university. And then at this time, I was living in Burkina Faso, which is a former French colony in West Africa, and it's a French-speaking country. And I was taking a particular class. I was doing a bachelor degree, but then I was doing it in English in a French-speaking country, and it was the only school that I could actually go, and then all the classes were in English. So I couldn't have this in other schools. So he wanted me to leave this school and to start like a French program somewhere to just study something else. And then I didn't want that. That's where the problem was. He was willing to pay for whatever type of study I wanted. He just wanted me to go out of the school for personal reasons. And then I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want it. So what happened is that I ended up not knowing how to pay for my school fees. And then I
Wow.
was 20 at the time. And then I started looking around. What can I do? I need a job. I need a job. And then I was lucky enough to get a job in a mining company as an administrative clerk.
Okay.
So, and it was actually well paid. And then they needed someone that was bilingual, that was able to speak French and English, and I was bilingual. And then I knew about administration. So what happened is that I ended up working there, and then I was making enough money to pay for my school fees, and that's how I actually was able to pay for my school fees and graduate and get my bachelor degree. But when I started working, I had no idea what to do with the money. I just knew that, okay, I needed to pay for the school fees and that's it. And then I was able to pay for the
Mm-hmm.
school fees very quickly, but I still got this money. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to organize everything. So what happened is that yeah, so I started researching, Googling, trying to understand, asking my cousins and whatever what to do. And then one of my cousins was like, "Oh, you need to put some of the money in an investment fund. You know, now you have money, you really need to save." And he told me about an investment firm. He just gave me the name. He was like, "Just go there and put as much money as you can." So, but he did not explain to me. I didn't know what it was for real. So I just went there and then I just signed for the name of the package he gave me. And then I decided to put half of my salary at this time into that account, but I did not have any expense. I did not have any living expense. I was paying for my, I wasn't paying for, I didn't have any rent expense. I did not have any food expense. The only expense I literally had, at that time I had a motorbike. So I will ride everywhere with my motorbike. And so what happened is that I will only spend money to put gas on my motorbike and just ride everywhere. That was so fun. And so what happened is that I ended up saving half of the money I had when I was 20, half of my salary in this account. And I didn't know what it was till I moved to the US. And then I've learned about
Yeah.
financing. I've Googled
So
it. And
yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. Like many of us, I feel you had somebody in your life that kind of pointed you in a direction. You went in that direction. You were lucky enough that it was a good direction, right? Because
yeah.
what happened to that money afterwards? After you put it in this fund, what happened?
So what happened is that, to be honest, so I was putting it when I was working, and when I stopped working, I stopped putting any money into that fund. And then I moved, and then I came to the US. So I came to the US, and then at first I was like trying to figure out what to do. And then I signed a modeling contract. I was a model here in New York, and then I was trying to understand, and I felt like kind of frustrated. I started doing a lot of research about money management because every time, even as a model, I had money management problems. I was running out of money. And then being a model, sometimes you work, and then it takes time for the agency to pay you. So you need to manage your money in such a way that it can last you for a long time. When you have it, you just don't spend it all. And that's where I've made a lot of research, and then I've realized that, oh my, I've learned a lot. I've read some books,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was like, oh my God. Then I totally forgot that I was saving some money in my country. Then I realized, oh my God, I was saving some money. What is it? And then I checked, and then I realized, oh, it was an investment fund that I've actually blocked for. I didn't know I blocked it for like the next 20 years. I was like, I don't need this money for 20 years. And then so I contacted this company. I was like, hey, you guys, I've saved my money in your investment fund. How is it going? And then they were like, oh yeah, we have an account. You have an account with us, and it has more than 200 x return. I'm like, what? Are you joking? Can you send me a report? And then
Wow.
they've sent me a report, and then I was amazed. And I didn't even know what it was. I had no idea what it was when I was
So
doing
that
it.
that money was working for you while you were had forgotten about it.
Yeah, I totally forgot about this money. And this money was working for me. And then this money has doubled, more than doubled. And then when I checked, it was like 7, 8 months ago. So right now it's still working. It's still producing some revenue. Well, I wasn't even in my head. I didn't, I forgot about it totally.
Now, when you had your first job, right, you were putting money into this fund, but what happened when you came to New York? What was your financial situation?
So yeah, so when I was working, the way when I was working my trainees, I was putting a direct, like I had a direct deposit with my bank. So the bank was just cutting it, and it was fine. I didn't have a lot of expenses. When I moved to New York, what happened is that my expenses just went from
I
zero
imagine.
to nothing to something like this. And then I had a lot of expenses. Everything was expensive. The rent is expensive. The food is expensive. Every single thing was expensive. So and then I got lucky to have a contract, a modeling contract, and then I started working as a model. But then I had no idea how to deal with all those expenses. I had no idea how to deal with the money that was coming through the agency. And it was kind of, I wasn't good at management at all. So I've
I
made some
think
research.
I think that's our starting point for all of us, right? We arrive at this point where we have this sort of realization that we don't know what we're doing. And you were one of those people, and Anastasia too, who founded Athena, that put it upon themselves to learn everything, to do the research, to do the work,
Yeah,
to spend hours finding this knowledge. But
yeah,
what I say is like we're lucky, my generation, because now we have women like you and women like Anastasia who can tell us what you did and make
yeah.
it easier for us. You give us that knowledge, you give us that power.
Oh, thank you. That's very nice. We've learned through mistakes by doing a lot of mistakes, especially me. I have done tons of mistakes, and I had to learn, and then to learn I've researched it on Google. I went to YouTube. I've bought some books. I've read some books. It has helped me a lot, and yeah, one of the smart move that I've done since I've started educating myself on finances is to have a what I did is that I created a saving account. Everyone is supposed to have a saving account, right? Guess what? I did not have any saving account. I had zero saving accounts.
Wow.
And if I don't have a saving account, guess what? I don't have saving either. So the money that was coming in into my checking account was going out the same way, and
You,
it was
oh
going out
no.
very fast.
It was all expense. You know what you needed? You needed a wallet detox. That's what we call it at Athena. We say when you don't know how to manage your expenses, when you don't have a savings account, you need to come to us and we will guide you because
Yeah.
that's the position that many of us are in. And you were lucky that you were relatively young when you started investing, but that's not the case for most of us. We realize later in our 30s and we're like, oh my God, we're still not saving. And we have to get
True.
on this today. This is something that we, especially now for 2021, we
Yeah.
all need to start the year like you. We need to be focused. We need to know what we're doing. We need to be informed.
Yeah, that's true. It's super important, especially for us, and especially right now. There's no better time. We've all seen what happened with the COVID situation. There's no security. There's no we shouldn't be living day to day with day to day checks because you might not have a check tomorrow because a lot of things can happen because
Yeah.
everything doesn't go as planned.
An
And
emergency fund is super important. Savings account, especially nowadays. And
yeah.
and now we don't have the excuse of like, oh, this is too complicated or I'll leave this for later. Now we have the time. Now we have the available tools, the programs like our program or our newsletter that we send like free advice every week. And
Yeah.
like now we don't have to invest, like you did perhaps, like reading all these books and stressing out because the solutions are there and it's time to take action.
True, true, definitely. When I started out, when I was frustrated about my expenses, what I did is that I've made some research. I've went to Google and then I've went to YouTube. And what happened is that when you do this kind of research, you get too much information at
Too
once.
much.
It's
Mm-hmm.
not curated, and it's such a way that it's too much for your brain to just handle, and it's hard because there's no one to really make you understand how it is, to really make you understand all the details and even the steps, the different steps to take. You have too much information and you don't know which one is correct, which one is not, because in the internet you have what is right and what is not right.
Exactly.
So yeah, so I had this issue of trying to understand what is real, what should I do, what shouldn't I
I
do, who should
wish
I listen to.
I wish that
So
we could travel back in time and
Yeah,
have had Athena before, because that's precisely what we try to fix, 20-minute lessons, condensed information, because you can spend hours on the web searching and searching and searching for really vague information and things that aren't going direct to the point, that are not written by an expert. They're just
yeah.
opinions.
Yeah, correct. That's totally true. And yeah, Athena is a great solution that is very much needed, and it's actually a great opportunity for us as young women who have big dreams.
Mm,
Yeah, I was saying that if a lot of people, by the time you're like 20, you don't really know what you want to do in your life. Some people, some knows, but some of the women know. But as they grow, they realize, oh my God, this is what I want to do in life.
mm-hmm.
This is my goal in life. This is what I feel like I should be doing. And then we started having those big goals, those big dreams. And in order to support it, it's now that when you start realizing that, oh, I have those big dreams, what should I do? Yeah,
Yeah.
you need some funds to realize most of your big dreams. So if you would have started when you had your first job, like saving, it's going to be help you actually to realize the biggest dream of your life, and this is worth it.
I really love that point, because you mentioned that to me on the call too. You said you will have big goals, so plan for them. And
Yeah,
in a previous Instagram live with a friend, I told her, oftentimes when we go to the mall, we put on Google Maps. But when we want to become a millionaire, when we want to become a business owner, when we want to become financially free, we just think we'll get there without a map, without any sort of planning, without any sort of intention. We just think that out of wishing it, it will happen. And that's not the case. That's not the
true.
case. But tell me a little bit more, because modeling, of course, is an unstable industry, especially now with COVID. I assume it's been a little bit hard maybe to work. So
Yeah.
how did you diversify your income sources? What else did you do? Because New York is expensive.
It's super expensive, and also as a new model, no one knows you. It's likely that you will not get like jobs quickly, so you need to work on a lot of stuff, your profile. And what happened is that when I started modeling, I realized, oh, there's no money coming in. So guess what? I need something to pay the bills. And what I've realized is that most of my model friends, they have a minimum of two jobs, like one job in addition to being a model. All of them, most of them, they had at least two jobs. And then, so I had a lot of friends that were hosters, that worked in a school. Anyway, they had a second type of job to help them go, to help them with the bills.
But
So, and
you
then,
but you didn't limit yourself to two jobs. You had like four jobs. You did
yeah.
everything possible. What was the things that you did?
Yeah, it's true because I was like, with the type of expenses that I had, it's a lot of expenses. So it's either you increase your revenue or you decrease your expenses. But it was very hard to decrease the expenses, so I had to increase the revenue. So I did a bunch of different type of job. I worked as a cashier in a store. I worked as an hostess in a restaurant. I bought a car because I wanted to use a car, and then on my spare time, I will do Uber, Lyft, or food delivery. Whenever I needed some extra cash, I would just go out and make this cash. And then when the agency money will come, I was investing into myself. So what I've decided is like I will make my living expenses by working outside, doing whatever I can do to work. And what happened is that I needed, when the agency money was coming, I would use this money to invest into my education and to invest into the future money I need to realize my dreams. And I've even used the money of the agency that I was coming. I wasn't using it onto my living. I was living on other, like I had a money, like I was making revenue to live, but then the money that was coming through my agency, I was using it to invest into myself. And then I went through I went through the Founders Institute, and then I went through two different accelerators that I had to pay.
Wow.
And then I've used the agency money, the modeling money to pay for that while I was, and then educating myself. I bought some classes, I
Wow.
was educating. So I've directed the money from working as a model to educate myself and to invest into what I wanted to do. And then for myself, for my living expenses, I will go out there and then I will find ways to make money in order to pay my
Yeah,
bills, pay for the food and
of course.
whatever.
You're getting support here from the crowd. They're saying, I had 3 jobs at one time, definitely takes a lot. And
Yeah,
then Camila is saying, as a student, it's really hard having more than one job and studying. So praises to you for being Mrs. 6 jobs. And also you also have your own business, which is why
correct.
you also told me, apart from investing in education, which obviously at Athena we recommend everybody to do, you invested in your own business.
Yes. So yeah, I did invest into my own business. And how did I do that? Is that I wasn't making tons of money though. I wasn't making tons of money. So what happened is that when I got frustrated with my finances, I looked for ways to improve my finances. And then after talking to some other people, trying to see what type of tips they were using, what I did is that I finally created a saving account. And for a long time, I did not have a saving account. And
Good.
what makes the saving account good is that I have made a direct deposit. I've planned for a direct deposit from my checking account to my saving account of $60 per week.
Okay.
This seems to be very small, but guess what? $60 per week. Each week, I don't. It's like a dinner bill. So I don't feel it on my checking account that I have $60 less. So imagine I'm when I'm paid by my agency, I will take this money and then I will put it onto the saving account, right? And then every single week I have $60 coming from my checking account to my saving account. So these $60, I don't even look at it. And then one day I was like, oh, I have $60 going. Let me check. And when I opened this account, I have thousands of dollars in this account. The $60 became a lot of thousands of dollars. I was so excited.
Wow.
And then I've incorporated my business and guess what? When I went to open the excited when the woman, she asked me, do you have some money to put into this new business account? I was
Wow.
laughing and then I was like, of course I do.
That's the power of small steps. Taking small steps every week, it adds up. Like whether it
Yeah,
be for your savings account, for your investment account, or investing on your education. That's what I do. I invest at least 20 minutes every day on a topic of interest, whether it be finance, whether it be the Athena courses, investment. It's a very important thing to do. These small steps add up. And then you realize, 2 months later, not only are you a financial pro, but you're also investing into your own business, investing into your own life. So I love
yeah.
that.
Yes, it's very helpful. As you said, the small steps makes a difference.
And
And
for
yeah,
no, continue.
unfortunately, a lot of people that are making not a lot of money, they think that they can save. And I was there. I was thinking that, oh my God, I'm living from paycheck to paycheck. I can't save. There's no way I can save because at the end of the week or at the end of the month, I'm running out of money. So how can I save? Till I've made it meaningless, almost meaningless to me in such a way that I do not feel that I'm saving. And this came with the fact that I was just making this automatic automatic transfer to my saving account of just some money that I'm sure. And this was the money I was like, if I go to a restaurant, this is approximately the money I would pay for my food. So I would just save one restaurant bill per week.
I
And
love
then
that.
I wasn't feeling like I was saving. I wasn't feeling the heaviness on my
Of
checking
course.
account. $60 on my checking account for me wasn't
Which
a lot, but
which
depending on everyone, it can vary.
and that's a really big step because there's that step of feeling like you're not even putting in the work, like it's nothing, it's not going to affect you. Also with budgeting, I'm a huge budget fan because if I don't prepare for the month, I will end up overspending. And actually what I found through the Athena wallet detox is that when you budget, you actually give yourself freedom to spend the money that you're allowing yourself to spend. So then you don't feel like you're overspending, you don't feel guilty. Same as like you don't feel like you're putting in a lot of work by automatically moving $60, which is so easy. I mean, well, even if you can't do 60, 40, 20, it's easier than you think. I mean, we spend so much money on coffee, on going out, on eating pizza, that 60, I really like that advice that you give, like $60 a week adds up to thousands of
Yes,
dollars. And do you
yes.
have any other advice for your younger self? You know, if you could look at your 20-year-old self, what would you tell her?
Yeah, if I could look at my 20 younger self, I would have told her, because I had zero expense. I had literally had zero, just my gas to put on my motorbike. I would have told myself to, in addition to having the investment fund that I did, to also having saving accounts, and then to put as much money as possible aside, as much, because the rest of the money from my salary that I've used when I was 20, I've wasted it in nonsense stuff. So I would have told my younger self to save as much aggressively, because you don't have any charges. So this is the best time to save aggressively.
I
Trust
like
me,
that.
because it's gonna help you. You need to invest into your future dreams.
And I think that that's a perfect segue. I'm going to quote you in saying, you will have big goals, so
Yeah,
prepare for them. And
yep,
with that, I will give the audience here, because I promised to make it 30 minutes because I can talk forever and I have to control myself. So I'm
yeah,
going to give, I think, what are the 5 key takeaways from you and your advice here today. So,
sure.
first, invest when you're young, put that money aside. Second, have an automatic deposit on your savings account, whatever that money might be for you. 3, try to diversify your sources of income. If you can
Yeah,
do Uber, if you can do influencing, whatever source of revenue you can find, do it.
yeah,
And then to reduce costs as much as possible,
true.
because you also had mentioned about like your living expenses and your transport expenses, and I know that working for Uber was also a way for you to pay the car.
Yeah,
And
true.
five five, when you have no expenses, save most of it.
Yeah,
I think that that is a really beautiful thing, because you will have big goals. You will have big
true.
goals, and you have to prepare for them.
That's
So
true.
thank you so much for joining me today here, Annika.
Sure. I love spending time with you, and I love Athena. What Athena is doing is amazing. It's needed. A lot of people like us, especially women, we do need this solution. We do need to educate
Definitely.
ourselves. Yeah.
Oh, look, there is a question here. It says, did you ever find yourself without a paycheck? If so, how did you handle it?
Oh, yes, I did find myself without a paycheck, or the paycheck was late, or I did find myself without sometime, like once I was expecting my paycheck, it did not come. It had like something blocked it, and then I couldn't have it, and I was out of money. But the thing is that we need to diversify our source of income. The problem is that if I was only depending on that paycheck, I was blocked, and then I had no one to help me. But the chance is that I've diversified my sources of income. So when I didn't receive this paycheck, it's fine. I just went out and Uber for like some hours, and then I had money.
I like that. I think that that's a good piece of advice for all of us, especially now. I think COVID taught us that we need to have side hustles. We need to
Yeah,
be working on multiple things at once, because nothing is secure nowadays. Nothing is secure.
sure. Nothing is
So,
secured, and it's very important to diversify your source of income. Having only one, when you lose it, it's done. You can't survive, especially if you don't have any family member to help you. And yeah, so you need to diversify and just hustle. Don't look at a job and be like, oh, this job is whatever, whatever. No, like I was like literally when I go for my shooting, I'm a model, very beautiful model, but then I drive Uber too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's no the hustle is like just a hustle.
And another question here, how do you stay so fashionable on a budget?
Um, well, to be honest, is that I don't see I feel like everyone has its own style, and I don't think that I don't look at myself as very fashionable. I look at myself as very normal. When you see me on the street, maybe you would not know unless you see that I'm so tall. You would be like, oh, maybe she's a model. But I'm very normal, and I'm not really fashionable. The thing is that I only buy things when I need it because we all have the basics type of clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And when I have a special event, I will go out there and then buy for these special events. But I will not wake up and be like, I need to go shopping. No, this doesn't happen with because I need to invest into my business first. So you need to prioritize. And then in terms of what is fashion for you, what it means for you, and what you have already, because sometimes we have plenty of clothes and then we're like, we need more, we need more.
Mm-hmm.
No, 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 this is not important. When you have something special and then it's like you need more, you don't have, then yes, but we have the normal type of clothes. And I stay on the budget because I only buy clothes when I need it, but not when I'm like, I need to shop. No,
Yeah.
I only buy it when I
When
need
there's
it.
an event.
Yes.
Well, speaking of events, actually, Athena's going to have an event coming up this week, a free webinar that we would like to invite all of you watching here. So make sure you check out our page for more information. Also, the link in bio if you want to subscribe to our newsletter. And Annick, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Thank you for having me. It was such a pleasure. And yeah, I can't wait to see all the amazing women here growing up in the finances and taking the finances very serious. And then, yeah, don't do like me. Don't go to the internet and get tons of information and trying to find out which one is right, which one isn't right. Just go to Athena. Athena has all the tools for you to understand and to educate you on what it is, and don't feel like you don't have enough money, because definitely you do. There's a way, there's a process, and then you need to
Mm-hmm.
be educated, and Athena is just the best place for you to go.
And that's precisely what we're going to talk about at our free event. It's going to be saving up while starting your career, because there are some myths that we need to bust, and we can't wait any longer to start empowering ourselves financially. So thank you so much once again for joining me today. It was a pleasure
Thank
to
you.
see you and to be here, and till next time.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I loved it.
Okay, ciao. I hope you have a lovely
Ciao.
afternoon.
Bye.